distinguished lady, the Senator representing Anambra Central Senatorial Zone, in the person of the Chief, Mrs. Ekwunife. It's a pleasure to have you on BVI Media Chat. Honestly, we've been following your activities for some time now and talking about your impact on your constituency and your political activities. We decided to have this media chat with you to bring about the voice of the people out there. They are asking some questions that needs answers and only you can give. And also hear from you what is in stock for them as well as we are around the electoral year. Now, let's start with your political activities on the issues concerning national issues, the issues bordering around call it your legislative works and duties. How have you fared serving the people?
Thank you, and nice meeting you. Well, I am very conversant with legislative activities. I was in the House of Reps for 8 years. 8 years of policy representation in terms of bills, motions, and conversations on national issues. As a member of House of Reps, I'm very happy today that through my bill that I put on the floor, 2 agencies were created. We have the Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, which was in the system without any act backing them up, and also National Agency on Great Remote Wall that was put in place in order to fight desertification, climate change, and other environmental degradation in the 11th House 6 in the north. That was my baby bill, that was in the House of Reps. And so many other motions and bills that I also pursued that didn't come to conclusion before I left the House of Reps. Like financial autonomy for local government. I've been championing it and still championing it in the Senate because I believe that local government should have their financial autonomy. And also electoral autonomy for national INEC to conduct elections and local government, and councillors in order to remove the governor's encumbrances on the administration of the local government. Then to the Senate, that's just the summary. So basically, I moved a lot of bills, a lot of motions, and participated in co-sponsoring, also supporting others. But most importantly, I attracted a lot of projects to our constituency there, and also attracted a lot of employment to them equally. And that actually was what propelled their support for me when I indicated interest to run for Senate in 2015. And I ran for that Senate. I won by special grace of God. But incidentally, it was cut short by unfavorable court ruling, which of course gave my opponent the opportunity to go and test the Senate and FEMA. And I ran again in 2019 and gave me their mandate again. I went back. And in the Senate, I'm not taking it lightly, and also don't take their support for granted. So, participating in so many in my zone today, at least I brought the shader agency to Anambra State, but I'm building the permanent office now, the federal government agency. I brought a comic-free laboratory in UDC, to the Southeast Laboratory. Into solar paneling and other things. So that one is the Southeast. It started, I believe, in the next 1 year. The place will be ready for activities. A biotechnological agency that is in Aberdeen. It was there before I came on board as chairman Science and Technology. Of course, it's been quite difficult for them to have the defeating of people can balance and work for that. And what it means is that they have a good agency, of course, all the civil servants from all over the service to converge them. So I've been able to get their permanent office functioning. I'm sure before the end of the month or early week of October, they will start the construction of the permanent bid office that will quite befitting for that agency. I've also moved a lot of goods. I have Federal Medical Center coming up in Omaru. I have Federal University of Science and Technology, of course, in Africa. I also have National Agency for Innovation, which I put in four. These are things that I'm packaging that will be there for as long as I believe this country exists. They also help us in terms of manpower and employment generation for our youth. I've been able to secure job at employment for not less than 800 people. But I even 2 days I came back with about 3 employment in a reputable agency. So I've done well for the people. They also acknowledge it that I've done well for them. I'm also very excited each time I go out. Somebody will say, oh, you can't remember, you gave me job transport. You can't remember, you did this for me and all of that. Then an impact on people. I've done training for as many as I can even remember. To empower a lot of people in our field. Then on motion, and I moved the motion for reactivation of National Youth Center, started in Makura, and there for a long time, redundant. And then I've started a lot of projects.
Can I just come in there? You talked so much about your social contract with the people, and you've believed from what you've achieved so far. You've met a lot of your responsibilities to them, as promised before they gave you the mandate. Will you say you've accomplished everything
I surpassed the target.
Okay.
I always set target for myself. Mind you, I came out of banking sector to join politics. I always set target for myself. And in all the targets I set for myself, I surpassed them.
And now you're going for
So I'm doing it for another election, and I believe what I have put in the system has there to market me. I believe what I have put in the system will give them the confidence that they're coming back in the Senate. And in Senate, the more you come, the more you have a better position, a better platform to help people. We have about 4 major political parties into this election. Nobody knows which party will win. Every party is working hard to win. We have PDP, we have APC, we have Labour, we have AFTA. They have fantastic and well-knowledgeable, presidential candidates in all of them. They have something to put in the system. While every one of them will be working hard to win, it's only God that knows who will win amongst them. So I'm working hard as a ranking member of the Senate. If, of course, I win the election, I stand opportunity to be one of the presiding officers. And you know what that means to the people of Anambra State. The people I'm running an election with, of course, are coming from a very minority party. They can't do anything. In the 8th Senate, I was giving chairman Petroleum Dance. And then Governor Obiano was the governor. And I had meetings with him with the then Minister of Petroleum, and we discussed about Anambra being member of oil producing state. I know the extent I did also to assist. And today, it is Anambra is there to enjoy from all of those hard work put together. And when someone took over from me, they gave him deputy chairman level. So he couldn't have done anything, of course. And now, I'm chairman of the Senate Committee of Science and Technology. Mind you, the last time, the senators from the South unanimously nominated me to be the leader of minority. But before we send the letter, they had already taken a party position. Let the most ranking take up the position instead of destabilizing the system. And of course, as a politician, I understood where the party was coming from, and I accepted it to be it. So almost half of the senators are not coming back. So by special grace of God, if you are winning my election, it will be a very good one for this, not just even my zone, but the entire Southeast. You know, because we know the tradition in the National Assembly, we know what goes with it, being a member of the presiding officer. So I'm working very hard to win an election, and I know that what I've done in the system, what I've done down, what I've worked, what I attracted to them, the strong work has been love. These are enough facts that are there that can, of course, tell me back.
All right, well, I've heard you sometime when I was watching some of your activities at the red chambers, talked about FEMA, the way they are being budgeted and all that.
Mr. President, to say that our road network in Nigeria is a nightmare is an understatement. The roads in Nigeria are in shambles. Mr. President, FEMA remains one of the most important agencies of this government. FEMA. It remains one of the most important agencies of this government. But FEMA is not being funded to carry out their constitutional obligation. And that constitutional obligation is to maintain constant maintenance of our highways in Nigeria. Mr. President, I come from Southeast, but I also travel to other zones in this country. It's the same everywhere, from the north to south. It's the same. We have to call a spade by ensuring that government lives up to its expectations by funding FEMA. If we fund FEMA, it's not just constructing the roads, but maintenance of the road is more important than even the construction. What Nigerians are yearning for now is even to maintain the existing roads, not even to go into construction of new ones.
What is your assessment on the current leadership of the current government in respect to infrastructure? What is your assessment?
Well, first of all, when I talked about FEMA, of course, Federal Road Maintenance Agency, I believe that government should take it more seriously in maintenance of our infrastructure. Apart from government, individuals, we also have our civic responsibility to assist government in ensuring that infrastructure of government are maintained by the way we apply the rules of discipline and all of that. But on the part of government usually are more interested in building new roads while neglecting the old ones. Most of the roads that are now constructed, the roads they ought to have maintained that condition. We won't get to the level of scrapping them, starting all over again because of negligence and all of that. And FEMA has some statutory money that should come to them from certain bodies. They have to get some money from the ecological fund and other money they get from different agencies and all of that. And they are not supposed to be old. They're supposed to be one of the most important agencies in this country. So when you look at the nature and condition of our roads across Nigeria, you see that federal government must do something very urgently to save us from this chaos of horrible roads. Look at the cost of airfares today. It can't come down. When the emotion came on board that we must compel the aviation industry to get the airways and all of that to call down their pay or whatever. How do you do that? With the current status of aviation fuel, theirs is a business-oriented, profit-oriented business. They're into business to make profit. They're not charity organizations. So how do you do that? If the roads are not habitable, if the roads are not passable, passengers cannot apply to the road or go through the road. Of course, they'll be resorted to flying. And you know business, and once there is competition, of course, the fare will come down. But when there is monopoly, the price will go up. So if more people are going to buy tickets, the airfares will continue to go up, except when it drops. So what I'm trying to say is that fine, FEMA is there, working hard, but they can do better when government funds FEMA.
Yeah, exactly what got my attention, because some people will say, or most of our viewers who are, I mean, most of them are middle class, lower class. Many of them may not fly the planes. Something was said there, I think by you, the impact those bad spots is making or contributing to the insecurity, making it a hot spot for kidnappers, operations, and the rest of them.
Kidnappers usually have their catchment areas. That was also part of my argument on the floor. Kidnappers have their catchment areas. Of course, they will convert the bad spots as their catchment areas where they can. Of course, they know everybody driving must stop or slow down. So it becomes a security problem, threat for citizens.
One of that, some people, because I speak for the people out there,
Yeah.
The most important infrastructure that has been so much talked about in the southeast, second Niger Bridge. A lot of politics have gone under it and the rest of them, but what is most concerning to people who have asked me to say, ask people in government, and you are one of the people they look up to give them answers to that second Niger Bridge. They are introducing, someone said that place it introduced a toll gate. That means commuters who will go through that second Niger Bridge will be paying toll fees. And they are complaining, is that not another form of marginalization of the Southeast? Other infrastructures like bridges constructed elsewhere, why are they not putting toll fees there? Why are they putting the one on the second Niger Bridge?
The controversial second Niger Bridge toll gate. As the Onitsha Asaba second Niger Bridge project nears completion, a picture of a toll gate built at the Asaba end of the bridge surfaced online. The picture of the toll gate generated a lot of controversies. Many people are against toll gates at the bridge on the ground that there have been bigger road and bridge projects by federal government in other parts of the country, and none of them have toll gates, and that it is unfair for second Niger Bridge project that leads into southeastern part of the country to be tolled.
So they are wondering if the people representing them at the National Assembly have something to do about it.
When we engage the Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is one of the agencies funding the second Niger Bridge, they've not even gotten to that question to make permission to us. They've not gotten to that level. Whether they put to
So it's a mere rumor for now.
It's still a rumor, it's not many official documents to that. Until we see official documents, we don't know what to react. But it's good for people to be preemptive so that they'll be able to know that people are on the watch, they're waiting. Second Niger Bridge, I must commend President Goodluck Jonathan for initiating that project, and also commend the President Administration of Buhari for continuing with that project. It's a legacy project. It's a very noble project. It's a project that has been, if completed, will reduce a lot of stress and traffic in the southeast. And last time I went to the I think 2 weeks ago, I purposely went back, and I could see that what is actually going on in NSC. So I commend the two governments for doing that, but most importantly, Goodluck Jonathan for initiating the project and for funding it to the extent that it is. Government is a continuum. Once you take over government, take over both assets and liabilities, and be able to push from where you have to do.
All right, now the at which we are now is an electoral year. The elections, campaigns will soon start and all that. How hopeful are you that your party, PDP, will do well come next year, 2023? Considering the divisions, the infighting that is being witnessed, the drama, the other day some group of, prominent PDP members, governors pulled out from your presidential candidate campaign council. So will all of that have an impact on your election?
Well, in anything that we work, there will always be hiccups. There will always be obstacles. It's the ability to navigate the obstacles that makes you great. So don't expect that a party as big as PDP will not have that kind of problem. It will always be there. No party today is free. APC has its own. Other parties also their own account. But the bigger you are, the more headache you have. So that is life. Because I believe people will sort themselves out. It's a family issue, even though getting out of hand. But I believe they must find a way of balancing the situation to further.
Yeah, it will interest you to know this. Maybe you have had it, maybe you've not. Whenever I hear me at the talk, that thing, some of the people, especially coming from your opposition, from where I'm getting some of the information, some people out on the streets are saying that you rode on the popularity and the wings of the Mr. Peter Obi, who was your party's vice presidential candidate in the 2019 election, to win the Senate seat you occupy today. And they have the view that you may not enjoy that same patronage, let me put it that way, this election. How do you react to it?
Of course, you don't stop people from putting such permutation. It's natural. You know, in politics, the opponents will always come with different bankers. In 2007, Itobi was the governor. Ditume was national chairman of Africa. And I won my election in the House of Reps under PDP. In 2010, I ran for governorship against me and another party. Before the election, they came to solicit for me to join their party by one chief, Mia. I told him I would not come until Peter called me, and he called me, and I went and celebrated my entrance into Africa. I worked well with him, of course. You know, in 2015, he wasn't on any ballot. He was also no more the governor of Anambra State. And Victor denied me my House of Reps to get to Anambra. And I left him after that, took PDP ticket, and defeated him. So he wasn't on the ballot 2015. You know, and in 2019, of course, I was already a candidate of APC with their mandate to go to Senate. And PDP ticket was there, it was free. I mean, so many people were asked to come and run, they said they were not running. And he asked me to come. Well, I obliged. I took it off one week to me again. Peter helped me, of course. I cannot deny that in 2019 his influence didn't help. His influence helped. My also influence in that party equally helps. You know, the party is not where only you can make some money. You wash my hand, I wash your hand. That's what party. We cooperated well, we worked well. I mean, he's a nice guy. We are friends, we are not enemies, we are just political associates. You know, today I'm in PDP running on my, on what I have done for people, which of course has been fulfilling me. That has an advantage to ask anyone, I can't deny that, but that does not mean that it's God. Nobody is God. You only work very hard and ask God to bless your hard work. And through His grace, you make what you have.
And you believe
in 2019, so many people ran on that PDP. Why didn't that carry all of them? They all lost now. If you tell people ran in PDP too, out of 11 House of Reps, about 5 won under PDP. Everybody would have won. And out of 3 senators, 2 won. Another one, YPP won. Was YPP part of it too? So if we have people who push to the extent where you just get one or two things and all of that. So I think that, of course, we assisted the much with food. We also assisted the much with food too. We partnered well. That's all I can say. So now when people say that was only election around the game. All elections around the alone.
All right.
Yeah.
The very last area I want us to just have a brief thought, but very important. I leave this for the last.
Yeah.
Talking about national issues on restructuring. What is your position and that of your party on restructuring?
Well, Atiku has said in his manifesto that he will restructure this country. We need someone with political will. We need political will to deal with it. That was his agenda he did in Samoa. He has his spokesperson. And when it comes to the national conference, we've had national conference with results, with resolutions. We have to go back to those resolutions. With the way the Constitution is, Constitution cannot untie this government, untie Nigeria. That Constitution is so stringent, it's so difficult for the Constitution to give us the kind of restructuring we all need. Even referendum like people say. But we can only get all of those things through negotiations, through national conference, and we now understand ourselves and see the reason where there is strength in diversity. All we need to do is to strengthen the regional governments, strengthen the states. Today there is security in all over the world, and all over Nigeria, all over the nation. We need state policing. We need state policing in every state. Let states provide their security. If we don't have state policing, the crisis will continue. Then in the states, the governors must unbundle local government. A situation where the third tier of government is not working. It's not working. Only two tiers are working. Federal government, state government. Local government is not working because their financial capacity is being carried by the state governors. So we need to unbundle the local government. We need to remove the encumbrances of the governors and the local government. Allow the local government to function. For me, I'm advocating too. I also have my bills coming up on the amendment of the Electoral Act. For INEC to also conduct the local government and councillors election. To remove the encumbrances of governors. You see what problem we have today after the electoral amendment and the constitutional amendment. Because constitutionally, you must have two-thirds of the state assemblies to approve it before you pass it into law. When it gets to states, once the state governors tell their state assemblies not to cooperate, many of them will renege. You can imagine in 98 Senate will pass constitutional amendment to give state assemblies financial independence. They voted against themselves. So you see the kind of governors on the state assemblies, on local government, we must be able to remove it for this country to open up. Security threats we have are in the local areas, localities. So we need state police for governors to have control of the things that the chief security officers of their state. So we need state police for them to be able to exercise that authority quite confidently and very well. We also need them to open up the local government. Local government stand on their own. The same thing I'm talking about the separation of Attorney General's office from Minister of Justice. Minister of Justice is supposed to be a political office. Attorney General's office is supposed to be a professional office that will be independent of the presidency so that they can dispense justice, deal with justice the way it should be done. Than Attorney General carrying out anything the president tells him to do. You come to corruption. You can't cure corruption today except the office of the Auditor General becomes financially independent and also politically dependent. So because in all these agencies, corruption does not come from heaven. It passes through people, it passes through files. And those places will have auditors. And those auditors should be able to do their work. They have to do their work when they're independent. So we have a lot of things to, do and be able to, remove certain bureaucracies, bottlenecks, barriers, and issues that we're having in the country. But most importantly, citizens must play their civic responsibility. Look at what happened in Ekwunife. People must watch their environment. See something, say something, is very important. If you don't watch your environment, how many conventional police people we have? How many security people we have? Are they going to be everywhere? Without citizens playing their own role, it's difficult for government to do it alone. So citizens must be able to assist the government to secure themselves, secure the environment where they operate, and to know that anywhere you are, you're the chief security officer of your own environment.
All right. Now that you said that, you just touched a whole lot of things all at the same time. Yeah. But as the voice of the people, I just have to bring it to your notice. Now we're having this conversation. We made mention of the very little marginal security personnel we have. And you're talking about the number of police officers and the role individuals can play. Now, it will be very good if we see you on the floor of the Senate advocate for the reducer of police details attached to some people they call high-profile people. Not that they are not going to have security people, but they have. They say if you take away the number of police officers that are following dignitaries, politicians, and elites, then you have very little left to man the general public. So we hope and look forward that now you mentioned it, that we'll see an action that will, lead to the situation whereby we will have a robust security that is enough to man the security of the general population. And again, the taking care of security personnel, their bonuses, the armed forces, the police, and the rest of them. You cannot give a man AK-47 to stand on the road and pay him powerfully, and sometimes you see them protesting for one thing or the other. So that is just on my own part to you.
My people, now good evening. I don't carry waka come again. Make una see where our Nigeria police they stay. My people now see, how do you expect them to deliver? How? People where they take care of us, see where they stay. Just look. My people, make una see where Nigeria police they stay. Our politicians, our senators, police they get una, see where they stay. Look at building, mona see where police they stay. Mona see where police they stay. See roof don't fall. Hey shit, man. The politician where they take care of, mona see where police they stay. My people, mona see. And they come in, mona see where police they stay. My people, mona see. And then they guide all our politicians. Mona see. Make una see where police they stay. Make una see. Police deserve a better life. They not be animal. Police, they not be animal. Mona see. My people, mona see. They go to guide our senators, House of Rep members. They go to guide politicians. Make una come see where police they stay. Police, they be human being. Mona see. Mona see where police they stay. People risking their life to take care of us. See where they stay. We go to sleep, but they know they feel sleep. Look at their houses. You can see them. This deck now go soon fall. This deck go soon fall. See where police they stay. Our senators, House of Rep members, make una come take care of them. They be human beings. Police are human beings too. They be human beings. Mona see. Mona see. My people, Mona see house. Mona see where police they stay. Roof not they throw away. How much be their salary? How much be their salary? How much be their salary? How much? They go buy uniform. Just look where they stay. Make una see. Make una see where police they stay. Kai. In this 21st century, now yep, our Nigeria police they stay. Ogida Barak. Make una see. Mona see. Make una see. Hey!
I also advocate that the welfare of security personnel should be enhanced. Should be enhanced. Their living condition also be looked into. If you go to some of these barracks where they come from, you just pity them. You begin to wonder, how can people live here and have motivation to secure their country? Once someone is leaving his house, he doesn't even know whether he will come back or not. If anything happens to him, and what comes to the family? So we are working on that. I'm also one of the advocates that we should enhance their take home. Very important.
All right, thank you very much. People, that is a wonderful time I had with the distinguished Senator Ekwunife, the Iyon in the Anambra State. It's a pleasure having this media shout. Ife calling. You know what that means? Something that is more precious than gold. In case you don't understand, write it down. It's a pleasure, man. We hope to have more interaction with you as we go further.
Yeah, I appreciate your comment. Thank you.
You're welcome.